Numbers reveal spiritual qualities where figures reveal quantities. And that was the turning point for me. All of a sudden, I had all this information in my head about figures. All of a sudden, the whole spiritual realm of everything around me, I awakened to. The energy that was around me, the vibrations, the intent of people. It was like my eyes were open for the very first time. And it gave me a totally new self-concept of who I was.
Wow.
And you're right. I've been doing this since 72. So now when I see a name or a birthday, it's like a radio dial. I turn the numbers and music starts playing. And I just start hearing about all what I'm hearing all that you've gone through. I'm hearing how you overcame it. I'm hearing how you were awakened in your youth to wisdom that most people don't even, never in a lifetime achieve. I'm hearing how you had to grow up fast and you're getting younger the older you get, okay?
You're going to make me start crying. I feel like you really know me. That's so, man, Jesus had to be tapped into this. And like I said, we're not even talking about the spiritual side because there's also that spiritual impression. Maybe that's what helps you articulate it, but you're going solely off the numbers.
Just off the numbers, yeah.
All this and more coming up on this episode of the Truth Seeker Podcast. Really quick, before we get started, if you are blessed by this ministry, if you're blessed by this platform, anything that I bring to the table, I ask you to partner with me via Patreon. Go to patreon.com/truthseeker and you unlock rewards, my entire discography of music, webinars, meditations, weekly hangouts, and so much more. Patreon.com/truthseeker. Go check it out.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the Truth Seeker Podcast.
Gargoyles, psychics, everything's ungodly. Dark Savage.
Streaming live at truthseeker.com.
She's not a Christian.
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff.
And now, your host, Truth Seeker.
Welcome to the Truth Seeker Podcast. I'm your host, Truth Seeker. Today, my guest is Dr. Craig Wright. Craig, welcome to the podcast, brother. How are you?
Doing just fine. Thank you, Truth, for having me on.
My pleasure. Watched a couple of your interviews and saw some of the stuff that you're bringing to the table on your website, really resonating with your work, your spirit, what you're bringing, your love, compassion, humility. Love it. You know, the metaphysical side of the scriptures, all that good stuff. And wanted to have you on, sent you an email. Here we are. We're going to be talking about numerology and the Bible and all of the mysteries in between that. And so you sent me a breakdown of a reading of my first name and birthday. Is that right? Because I got it back and I was like, this is right on.
Yes. The idea in numerology is we were created by the word of God. And words, of course, are vibrations that we use letters and numbers as symbols for. Starts in grade school, Truth. Teacher says, that's the A sound, boys and girls. So they give us a vibration and teach us the symbols for them. So since we were created by the word, and words are symbolized by letters and numbers, the letters in our name and the numbers in our birthday are symbols for the word of God that created us.
For those who are approaching this, and this is a brand new concept, right? Numerology in the Bible is probably what this is going to be titled. What are some precepts? What are some keys or some hidden links within there? Because it has to be in there somewhere, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. As a matter of fact, Truth, numbers existed before written language. So a lot of the stories in the scripture, in the Bible, they include information about numbers as a way of getting information to us. For example, the number 3 in the story of Christ. Most people they miss that, but he was sought by 3 wise men, denied 3 times by 3 sleeping disciples. His main boy denied him 3 times before the rooster could crow. And we just celebrated Easter because he arose on the 3rd day. So wow. The number 3, the number 3 is a very, very spiritual number. And it stands for spiritual awakening. And it also was a symbol for abundance because Christ said he was here that we will have life and have it more abundantly. So that's a connection to the abundance. Another number that shows up is the number 40. 40 days and 40 nights, 40 years in the wilderness, which incidentally happens to be the sum of your month, day, and year. The number 40. So what does the 40 stand for? 4 stands for order, and 0 is a symbol for God. So whenever we see the number 40, God is establishing a new order. Okay? He's establishing a new order. The rain washed away the old. The children of Israel left Pharaoh, wandered 40 years. And because your month, day, and year add up to 40, you are going to be, or you are already instrumental in ushering in the orderliness of God here on the earthly plane. Wow. You're going to have a global impact because of what you came here to do. Also, just as an aside, you'll never find a house you like, so get ready to hire an architect to design your own home.
Wow. And all of this just from names, numbers, birthdays.
40. Wow. Oh, that's the number 40, yes. Your month, day, and year add up to 40.
Okay, so the month, day, and year, that's a number that you got, but also you numbered my name as well. So
the letters in our name as well, yes. Here's how it works. Like the prophet Jeremiah, we all have a contract with the Creator before we're formed in the womb. Mm-hmm. So we're not physical beings having an occasional spiritual moment. We're spiritual beings having a temporary physical expression. So the numbers in our birthday reveal God's part of the contract, the promises, gifts. His promises reveal our gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. Okay. For example, people born in January have the gift of leadership. They're here to do things their own way. October is also the same energy. So the birthday reveals the gifts. The name reveals how we said we would use those gifts. And that's the contract that we have.
Wow. So, I've been getting really deep into the scriptures and breaking down the names. And obviously, I think, the numbers are there when you break down the Greek and the Hebrew. But I feel like a lot of times it's already interpreted for you. If you go back to the name, like you said, Jeremiah, we have to break down. Most of the time it's 2 words put together. Almost like a first and last name, we got 2 words, or you may have instances where you have 6 words put together with the names of these prophets and disciples and these things, but their name reveals a greater expression of their life story, of, like you said, the energy that they're carrying, exactly. And then we would think, like, maybe in a very exoteric, from a Christian perspective, it's like, Michael, meaning he who is like God. And it's like an expression, like just some random guy named he who is like God. But no, this is a celestial being, if you will, an eternal being who is showing up through this form as an expression or an emanation of the Creator. But we look at, okay, that's Michael. He's an angel. No. I'm finding everyone in the scriptures carries a same or similar celestial energy, including us. And this is why I wanted to have you on.
Exactly. The characters in the Bible, once you apply the numeric understanding of their name, it reveals characteristics that everybody's going to carry. At the top of every profession, you mentioned the name Michael. At the top of every profession, there's a Michael. From Michael Buffer to Michael Jordan, there's a Michael there. Even God's favorite angel is a Michael. The name Moses is a 17. So the name Moses tells us about that number. If the 17 is associated with you in any way, you're a leader. Okay, you have a direct connection with spirit, and you're here to speak truth to power. God sent Moses to Pharaoh. Nobody did that. Pharaoh could cut off your head, your children, wipe your name from history, kill all your flock, take your property. So 17s are very powerful, and they are here to speak truth to power. They represent God's power on earth. Sometimes God will send in a lamb. That was Jesus, the number 2, the number 11. Sometimes he sends in a ram. That's the number 8, the 17. So 17s represent power.
Okay.
Michael Jordan is a 17. Okay. Muhammad Ali was born on the 17th. So 17s are world beaters, and they have global gifts that give them opportunity. This is how I should say it. They have gifts that give them the opportunity to have a global impact. Now, some of our gifts we leave unwrapped. I mean, we don't open them up. So we have free will. So numerology doesn't rob us of our free will, but it kind of puts a challenge to like, okay, now that you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Many of our self concept come from the people around us. So if you got a parent telling you, oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, you'll never amount to anything, you're taking all this in, okay? It's coming from a source that you respect. So you begin to think of yourself that way. But numerology looks at the letters in your name and the numbers in your birthday and identifies you as the living word of God.
Wow.
So this can really change someone's self-concept. It certainly changed mine of who I was.
I mean, the idea behind the movie The Matrix, it says like, it's all ones and zeros. Literally, it's all numbers. Everything is a mathematical equation, if you will. It's
Yes.
real interesting. And you mentioned, and I heard you say it, you said, the number 11 is 2. Number 17 is 8, where we get the idea that whatever, once you have your birthday, once you have these other numbers, that you get the numbers and then you add them all up. And if you get a number 11, you add, like your final number, you add 1 and 1 together. Or if you're number 17, you add 7 plus 1, which is 8. So 8 would be the final number, as in it would range from maybe your primary numbers from 0 to 9. Is that how that
Exactly.
works?
Exactly. 0 in the beginning, that's a symbol for God. Then it goes from 1 through 9. After that, there are no new numbers. 10 is a 1 and a 0. Been there, done that. 32, that's a 3 and a 2. So you're absolutely correct. There are only 9 vibrations. However, each vibration has a higher frequency. So the number 2, for example, the number 1, 2 ones is an 11. The number 2, double 2s, 22. The number 3, 33. So double numbers, 11, 22, 33. Those are called master numbers.
Yes.
And they emphasize the root number. So a 22, for example, let's just say someone was born in 1984, 1 plus 9 plus 8 and 4 is 22. That's a master number. It's called the master builder and the globalist. Wow. So 22s have a global universal impact. And 2 stands for partnerships. So 22s can form global partnerships, such as George Washington, our first president. He formed connections with the French, and they were vital in helping America fight for the independence. I think every street has a Lafayette Square. Every city has a Lafayette Square somewhere, or a statue of Lafayette, because without his help, I don't think we would have made it. And the number 22, that was George Washington's birthday, enhanced his ability to build a nation and to make those global connections. So 22s are globalists and will have a global impact, a worldwide impact.
So if you get those double numbers like that, those are special.
Those are special, yes. Now it's still 11 is still a 2, but where the number 2 is a bookkeeper, someone who's very good at detail-oriented work, the 11 is on fire. They're in front of the crowd. The 11 is called the number of light. The word Jesus, Jesus, is a number 11. And when he studied at the Egyptian mystery schools, he proclaimed himself to be the light of the world, because that's what 11s are here to do, to illuminate, to teach by example. 22 is called the master builder. So they are very, very good with their hands, constructing things, building things, good engineers and mechanics, very good with numbers as well.
I don't quite remember, but I think I might be a 22 when you add all of the numbers and like the name and the birthday together.
Well, I can tell you this, your year of birth is a 22.
Oh, okay. So it's the birth year.
Yes, your year 1984.
Yes.
Yes. 1 and 9 is 10. 8 and 4 is 12. That adds up to 22.
Wow.
And that's a gift. When it shows up as your birthday, it's a gift. So your gift from the Creator is to change the planet.
Amen.
I'm not pulling any punches here. I'm not trying to.
It's evident. I mean, it's what you do, right?
It's what I do. So this 22, if you decide to write, as many 7s do, what you write will make it to the big screen. Now, I can't determine if you're going to write or not. That's free will. But I can tell you, if you decide to write, it's going to the big screen. Wow. So using film, now we have YouTube, so many different medias, TikTok. You should incorporate all of that in what you're doing, because your gift is the media and to expose the world to truth.
And he doesn't know me very well, ladies and gentlemen, but I have a book out. I've got over 200 songs written about spirituality, Christ consciousness, and I'm still writing. It is still coming out of me. So that's the confirmation.
They have to be translated into different languages
so
that it can, seep the corners of the earth. The truth has to go out everywhere. And that's the number 22. And this is going to really, really come into place. I mean, you're just getting started in what you came here to do. A lot of what you came here to do is also about the land. So you may ultimately end up feeding people with huge tracts of real estate and land or greenhouses, however you will be doing it then, maybe using solar energy, hydroponics. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the master, but you're going to be the answer to a lot of the problems that we have and help reestablish order on the globe.
That's so amazing. I appreciate that. It seems like what you're tapping into a little bit right now as we're talking is, I come from the charismatic Christian background, and something that we would call prophesying, where you can feel a person's vibration frequency. You get next to them and there's impressions and things like that. Is it like I feel like it's the same information, the same energy. This is encoded. These numbers are encoded, and you're able to read the numbers, whether we grab out a paper and pen or we just feel the vibrational frequency and just begin to declare it to a person who's never had somebody vocalize who they really are. And we definitely look at the life of Jesus, how all of the sleeping giants that he came into contact with, his disciples and people who were hungry, he met them where they were, and he was able to tell them who they really are outside of this false reality or false identity that they've accepted. So this idea of prophesying and having somebody who can see and speak it out.
Man, your gift with words is amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. You're exactly, what can I say? You're exactly right. There's nothing to add to that. It's like the energy, it's a symbol. It's like a musician uses letters for notes and numbers for timing. Okay? Yeah. Different, like a C or A, different octaves. So the letters in our name and the numbers in our birthday are symbols for the song that we are to play in this symphony of life. We are God's song. And you're right. I've been doing this since 72. So now when I see a name or a birthday, it's like a radio dial. I turn the numbers and music starts playing. And I just start hearing about all what I'm hearing all that you've gone through. I'm hearing how you overcame it. I'm hearing how you were awakened in your youth to wisdom that most people don't even, never in a lifetime
Wow.
achieve. I'm hearing how you had to grow up fast and you're getting younger the older you get. Okay.
You're gonna make me start crying. I feel like you really know me. That's so, man, Jesus had to be tapped into this. And like I said, we're not even talking about the spiritual side, because there's also that spiritual impression. Maybe that's what helps you articulate it, but you're going solely off the numbers.
Just off the numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my orientation. See, I was very good at numbers in the seventh grade, so my parents decided they were going to have an engineer in the family.
Mm.
My mother was a school teacher, so I was never out of school. Math and science, math and science. I I wanted to fly aircraft, to be a Navy pilot. But my best friend died of a drug overdose when I was in my junior year at 21 years old. That changed everything. For the first time in my life, I began to seek, why am I here? What's the meaning of life? This isn't supposed to happen. Take me now if it's going to be this arbitrary. So God began to talk to me in a way I would understand through numbers, okay, through the numbers. I heard a song, and the song was by a guy named Roy Ayers. He started talking about the secret of numbers. I said, what do you mean, secrets of numbers? Took me a while, but eventually I got the album, bought the book, and discovered truth. Numbers are different from figures. They are not the same. When I hold up a pen, and if I say I have one pen, that's a figure. Figures represent quantities. But as you have so eloquently put it, well beyond my ability to communicate it, the number carries energy. So the number one, if I say big pens are number one, I'm not talking about a quantity. Now I'm talking about a quality of being the best. So numbers reveal spiritual qualities where figures reveal quantities. And that was the turning point for me.
Wow.
All of a sudden, I had all this information in my head about figures. All of a sudden, the whole spiritual realm of everything around me, I awakened to the energy that was around me, the vibrations, the intent of people. It was like my eyes were open for the very first time, and it gave me a totally new self-concept of who I was.
Wow. That's amazing. I've been exploring numbers, right? And it quickly leads to, in the spiritual community anyway, sound and frequency healing. Like you say, every note has a tuning, every tone has a frequency that you can dial up or down. And interestingly enough, that those sounds and frequencies, vibration, energy, they make you feel a certain way. Like you can shift the pitch of a song or a note, and as it's maybe carries a more heavy, lower, almost depressive vibrational frequency to it, you can shift it to maybe a 432, 528 frequency, solfeggio, and all of a sudden that depression is turned into lightheartedness, fun, laughter, just by changing the vibrational frequency of the music. And that's something we've been exploring a lot as well, and it all comes back to the numbers.
Exactly. It appears as though I'm solid. It looks like the screen of this computer is solid, but if we had a big enough magnifying device, we see atoms, neutrons, protons. Everything is vibrating. Everything is energy. And that's why the songs affect us, because the vibrations of the song affect our energy and our vibrations. That's why Jesus changed names. That's why you see in the scripture a name change. Someone's energy has changed. Their purpose, their intent has changed, so that outer vibration, that name energy, has to change as well to meet that promise.
That's so good. So good. When studying some of these concepts, like, you know, it could be foreign at first. I mean, you can hear that there's an idea, but it can be intimidating, maybe because there's different schools of thought, different modalities, and as someone who's maybe elementary in this, it could be overwhelming. This guy says this guy says that, but what you're sharing, what you're bringing, when I first stepped into it, there was a woman that I had on the podcast, and it is right in line with everything that she's saying. So as a student, it's like, okay, he's going to teach one concept, she's going to teach a different concept, but the beauty is like, hold on, there's something something similar when we're breaking down numbers again, because the numbers don't lie. So is this something that everybody can grasp fairly easily with a chart, or having a one-on-one session with somebody who's trained in this?
Yes, it is. It really, really is. And when I first started studying numbers, Truth, I had to go to the Library of Congress. And I had to stay there because you couldn't take the books out. Now you can go to the library and there's a Numerology for Dummies. You know, that whole series, Accounting for Dummies, Bookkeeping for Dummies. It's gone mainstream now. It's mainline. But because there's only 9 basic numbers, it's really easy to grasp. 1 is leadership. Okay. 2, we hold up 2 fingers. That's the peace sign. If Adam is 1 and Eve is 2, that's 3. That stands for youth, expression. Okay. We can't have our children crawling around and getting in our way, so we put them in a playpen. That's the number 4, 4-sided figure for order. 4 stands for order. Can't keep them in there all day. They need exercise. So they need freedom. We take them out. 5, that's for freedom. Too much freedom is anarchy. 6 is responsibility. Marriage. We've got to claim these kids, okay? Somebody's got to raise them and take care of them. Once we meet our responsibilities, we have peace. That's the number 7. When we're resting, we can hear the still voice within. On the 7th day, God rested. So this enables the 7 to hear, who was that? So 7 can hear that inner voice. When we seek the kingdom, all else is added unto us. That's the number 8. Money, power. And once we've satiated our own desires, we realize, wait a minute, it's not about us. It's about helping other people. That's the number 9, selfless giving. So it really follows a logical pattern of our unfoldment. And the number 9 is the highest. The word love is a number 9 vibration, by the way. So true love asks for nothing. It's just a giving energy. Give, 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 give. So if you're listening and you're born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th of any month, or if you're born in September, you're here to be a giver. And do not expect to get anything much from the people you give to. What does this mean? You're here to help the poor, the sick, the disadvantaged, people who can't give back. But you will also encounter those who won't. That's the highest, that's the test. Can we keep our level-headedness and continue to give from a source within, not how it's received, not because we're being rewarded, but because it's who we are and it's what we're here to do.
That's so good.
That's the number 9. That's the ultimate.
Yeah, do it regardless of the outcome. Do it because it's who you are. It's literally who you are. Singers sing. Prophets prophesy. Painters paint. It's what they do. And to hear and to see that there's a mathematical equation behind that, does that tie in obviously somewhere with astrology? Because the month or the day or all of that kind of tied in. Is it more numbers or the celestials, or are they tied in together? How do you reconcile the two?
The numbers, astrology, and the tarot. All 3 of them are linked and tied in together. Now, it's numbers, that's my area of expertise, but I have spoken to astrologers. I've done shows with them, and their thing is, while I'm studying the living word, literally the living word, they're looking at the position of the heavenly bodies because they're vibrating and radiating and sending out energy, and as the spirit enters this plane, that energy, as you already mentioned, it affects them. That vibration affects the spirit as it enters, and you take on those characteristics. So that's why they want to know exactly where those planets are. The tarot cards, they just add a picture to the numbers. They add a pictorial reference. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So that's what the tarot does, simply adds a picture. There are 78 numbers. There are 78 tarot cards. So there are 78 experiences that we can have here on the earthly plane as we study, learn, and grow and proceed to our Christ experience. Jesus wasn't the great exception as the religions. Muhammad wasn't the great exception as the world religions try to make us think. These guys were the great examples of where we are all headed.
Mm-hmm.
We're all headed to that type of experience.
And if you don't get that, you've missed it, right?
Yes, sir. I love how you put it.
You've already missed it. It's so good. So with I mean, obviously there's so much numerology within the Bible. We're looking at these, the names and the meaning of the names as we read by them. Even the whole book of Numbers, one that I remember in Christendom, we're like, yeah, just skip that book, just read through it, breeze through it. But now it's like that book is unfolding and speaking to me. Like the creator is like, hey, add these numbers, and there's some help. But just look up what the names mean, and it goes to the expression. And the title of the book is the Book of Numbers, right? And you got how many of this person was in that tribe, and this amount of people, and I need you to get 7 of these creatures and lambs and 10 of the, and it's just all of these, but we think it's monotony. We think it's just like, it's not supposed to be in there, but numbers are magical. And there's a reason why it tells you to go get 2 of this kind or 7 of that kind all throughout the scriptures. And one of the key things for me, at least in the names that opened it up in the book of Numbers, was it says that at the very beginning, and it says this over and over, but that we're gonna number Israel. We're gonna number the people on the earth. We're gonna take a census, and that their stories, who they are expressed by their names. So their name is gonna tell you who and what they are. And obviously, this comes back down to numbers, and it's so true, and it's changing so much. It's connecting a lot that was overlooked. That it's like there's a surface level. Okay, there's Moses. Hold on. Who or what is Moses? Well, Moses did this, and here's the story. No, what does his name mean? And who was his father and mother? And the father and mother, those ideas are, they're telling you more of who he is. It's more numbers. It's more son of righteousness. It was a peacemaker, these kind of things. He who draws from peace. You're getting all of these names and titles and words, and it's like really unfolding the scriptures like more numbers, sacred geometry, of having a solid, and then it begins to unfold as you unwrap it, and it's more and more, and it's multiplication, and then we can put it back into the solid form and share it and articulate it with stories and pictures, like you say. But those stories and pictures are a portal into so much more.
Exactly. I use that word a lot after you finish speaking. Exactly.
So good.
You've got it.
So good.
There's nothing to add to that, it's so true. Moses, the 4th book of the Bible, is called Numbers. I'm born May the 4th. Come on, I'm a numerologist. In Psalms 90, verse 12, Moses wrote, "So teach us to number our days so we can apply our hearts to wisdom." These things aren't accidents. They're not there by mistake. Even though the Bible has been written and rewritten and written and rewritten, depending on who was in charge. King James, he was in charge at one point in time. We're going to rewrite, we're going to do it this way. They could not remove the wisdom that was still in that text. They took a lot of things out, like in earlier editions. When I first got my calling, I ran to seminary. I thought this was my calling, right? I didn't stay there too long. I realized they weren't seeking truth. They were telling you, no, this is what truth is.
They want you to be able to just repeat what they tell you, just like school. There's no spirit involved, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, like a cookie cutter. And they don't want you out unless they're sure you're going to be maintaining the status quo. So I had to get out of there, and I discovered the University of Metaphysics. And I began my study there, the University of Metaphysics. And there was just so much information in the scripture about numbers. For example, Noah. Everybody knows the story about Noah and the flood. Well, N is the 14th letter of the alphabet. 1 + 4 is 5. O is the 15, right? NO. 1 plus 5 is 6. So far we have 11. A is the first letter. That's a 1. That's 12. H is the eighth letter. That adds up to 20. 2 plus 0 is 2. And Noah had to go out and collect the animals 2 by 2. Who else? Who else would God have picked? Okay, except a number 2.
Yeah.
And we see this throughout the scripture. Once you understand the number code, you read it in a whole different way. It reveals so much more. So if you want to read about the written word, you can read the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. But if you want to study yourself as the living word, numerology is an invaluable tool.
And you bring it with you, right? To everything. If there's any truth to any of this, it's gotta apply to every area of your life, right? So these are things you take with you. It's not just only when it comes to the Bible or only when it comes to whatever it is you're reading, but every aspect of your life.
Yes, the same energy patterns will show up on your driver's license, in your social security number, the numbers in the address of your house. In fact, that is a way, once you understand the code, of confirming you're in the right space with the right people and pursuing the goals that you came here to pursue, because they will be in alignment with that energy.
So, like astrology and like reading these numbers and understanding them, have you had any experiences or any examples that you can share where you can actually plan out a day or plan out a week or a year, or have you planned out something that it just energetically was a match because you looked ahead to know that, okay, on this day it's going to be perfect for me to put this application, and it's going to be perfect for me to ask for a raise, or any of these ideas that if we can read the numbers and know what's approaching, again, similarly how astrology works, but actually understanding the numbers. Do you have any examples of that?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. The Bible tells us, for all things, there is a season.
Yeah.
And with numerology, you can tell the season that you are in.
Mm-hmm.
For example, this year, 2 plus 0 plus 22 add up to 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So universally speaking, we're in a 6th year. What does the 6 stand for? Well, the 6 symbolizes marriage. This information comes from the story of the 6 vats of water that were turned to wine. It was at a wedding. So we can expect record numbers of marriages this year. And that's easily verifiable. You can we're in a time now, we Google everything, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be
Pull that up. Yeah.
a record number of marriages. We read a little more into the story, and we find out weddings infer domesticity. So family, domestic issues are paramount this year. We're looking at how can we heal? How can we get peace in communities? How can we stop the violence? How can we come together? So we're looking at that. But the main thrust of the story was the number 6, the rescue mission. When that water was turned to wine, it saved the party. Okay, things were going south. Things were going south for that party when the water was turned. So there was a rescue there. And the second wine was greater than the first. So this is a time where people are going to be reaching out to the poor, the sick, the disadvantaged, trying to heal the planet. And that's the energy that we're facing this year. Now, personal energy is found by adding your month and day to that number 6. Okay, this is how you can determine your personal season. You can break it down even further. In a 6th year, all right, if you add 4 to 6, April, 4 plus 6 is 10, which is new beginnings. So this month has been a month of fresh starts, new beginnings, doing things we always wanted to do. May is going to be a number 11 month, and that's going to be a time of spiritual awakening. The 11 stands for light, illumination. So there's going to be an awakening. Something that's been hidden will be uncovered during the course of May. Also, we're going to see money and funds being poured into educational projects during the month of May because it's a time of illumination and light. Artistic expression will explode during the month of May, and people will be having ESP experiences, visions, dreams. It's a number 11 month. So that's awakening. So, yes, in a word, yes, you can. I have a lot of clients who contact me when they're expecting C-sections. I can pick my day, Dr. Wright. What day should I pick so I know what spirit I'm calling in, the gifts that they're going to have? If you're planning, for example, a business, I have clients call me up. Look, I'm going to have an opening. I'm going to have a showing. I'm going to have an open house. I got to sell this house. So they're going to look for a number 8 day or number 6 day to be in harmony. I want to take a retreat. I've got to get away from it all. I got to unplug myself. I advise them to look for a number 7 day, the day when God rested. And even if you don't take advantage of that energy on a 7 day, you're going to lose your keys. Your favorite shortcut is going to be a roadblock on your favorite shortcut. Okay, so you're going to have to slow down on a 7 day. And if you're not aware of it, if you're not in tune, you're going to go crazy. You're going to have road rage, blowing your horn. Why is this happening? Chill out. It's a 7 day, man.
Wow. 7
Relax.
Sabbaths, and they're even these are religious Jewish ideas kind of thing, mythology, even if you will, but there's scientific research to show you that if you rest on the Sabbath, or another Sabbath is the new moon, and the moon counts the numbers of the month, right? So, and it falls, we used to be on a lunar calendar so we could follow the push and pull of the tide and the energy and the influence of the moon and of the planets. And our bodies are connected to the water inside of us that even the moon is governing. And we're just so far disconnected from something that the ancients understood. Jesus had to understand this. Anyone who was taught in the mysteries, or not just mysteries, but astrology, used to be looked at as something that was just taught in all mainstream colleges. And this is just something that's given over to myth and those things now.
Yeah, and you have a lot of preachers saying, don't believe in that stuff, don't believe in that stuff. But if you read it for yourself, it says, and these will be for signs. It's right there in the scripture. That was their purpose, to assist us, to help us, to put us in tune, and to let us know there is a greater being.
Oh, yeah. Because like we said before we started, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. God is not a man that he should lie. They don't lie. He can't lie. It's out of his nature. It doesn't exist. The numbers add up. Always. So
always.
You mentioned studying the metaphysics, and I remember when I bought this, it really opened my eyes to a lot. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. So you've got the metaphysical representations of people, places, and things all throughout the scriptures. And I tell you what, it gives you another take as a student to really break down all of the representations, because the beautiful thing about the numbers or about truth is it's going to be true on many different levels, on a metaphysical, spiritual level, on a literal level for many people, but also on a spiritual level, your anatomy. We're looking at the 24 elders that bow down to the throne of God, and we have 24 ribs. Jesus started his ministry at 33, or what was it, 30, and died at 33. There was 33 levels, 33 vertebrae within the spine, and we even see mystery societies such as Freemasonry on this 33 vertebrae, and how your body, that's just the anatomy, but also the celestials, because I have friends who are like experts at each one of these things, right? And there's so much bickering, and well, the Bible is simply about astrology, or the Bible is only about the anatomy. Well, if it's about words and letters and numbers, then that's going to be a universal truth, no matter how you look at it or spin it. Yes, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Your anatomy, the analogies and the metaphors, everything. These are eternal truths if you are able to read the numbers, right? So
Exactly.
cool.
Exactly. When you were talking about the experts and how, no, it's this way, it's this
Yeah.
way. It reminded me of the story of the blindfolded guys who were asked to define an elephant.
Mm.
And one felt the trunk and says, well, elephants are long and skinny like a snake. And one grabbed his ears. No, they're not. They're thin and flat. So it depends on your perspective. You'll think this is it. But when you take your blindfold off,
Yeah.
okay, when you awaken, which is the energy that your show has,
Yeah.
you can see the whole element. Well, no, well, it's all that and more. So we weren't wrong. We were right, but it's all that and
I love it.
more.
I love it.
So let's come together.
Yeah, when you understand that, it changes everything. And
Yes,
it's
it
here a little,
does.
there a little, come together, let us reason. If there's different parts of a body, they're better in functioning at different things and different tasks and different numbers. Like, I'm pretty sure if we broke down, it would take a lot of work. Maybe you've done it, but Jesus' disciples and the people that he picked, I gotta have a 4. I gotta have a 4. Like, I can't have 10 threes.
Exactly.
I need somebody who's going to be good at this. Somebody who's ready to fight for me. Peter. Like, we need to tame that, because if it's not governed and if it's not brought into alignment, then it's out of whack, right? And it kind of can get us into trouble. But let's bring that fighting spirit into alignment, kind of thing. And I'm sure if we added up the numbers of the letters of their name, we would find that he went through and picked people who were good at maybe things he wasn't.
You're exactly right. And that's why he had 12 too. 12 signs of the zodiac. 12 disciples.
And that was his number.
And he was
so why would he? Why? I mean, everything would have to line up, like you said. Wow.
Yeah. You're exactly right. There was a reason, a purpose, a metaphysical purpose behind changing Simon's name to Peter. Simon is a 7. That's faith and wisdom. Peter is a number 1. Leadership. So he said, I've got to give you a little tune up, because you're the rock. You're going to have to carry on and lead. And also it tells us about the 25, which means success after difficulty. Success after difficulty. So when someone has a first name that vibrates to the number 25, they will be a 7. They will have great faith, because they will only experience success after difficulty, because your faith is being tested. It's not going to work for you the first time if you're a 25. Even if you dial 411, the first operator that you get is not going to be able to help you. You might as well hang up and call again, because your faith is being tested. That's the 25. But ultimately, the 25 was made the leader. So 25s rise into leadership positions through acknowledging their faith and sticking to it, using visualization, vision boards, and holding that image in mind of whatever they want to manifest. And that's their gift. Manifesting material it's like a spiritual manifestation through their power of their mind.
I know we have our personal numbers and our power numbers and those things. And as you were going through all the numbers early on, I couldn't help but think about the hero's journey in this cycle, the constellations, right? We're journeying through these different processes of the celestials, of the numbers and those things. And it sounds like a story, the story of Christ, right? Hero's journey, those kind of things. And even though we have our number, does everyone journey through that process of doubt, everything that we're going through? Everyone comes in contact with all of those numbers, right? At some point, obviously in the day, if you have your day is 11 or 2, or your day is this and that, and the way to respond. So even though you're not that number, that you're still going to come in contact with it, right?
Yes. There's energy inside of us. And when I focus on that, we call those readings. The energy contained in the vessel. And then there's energy outside of us. Those are the forces that impact us, that challenge us, that help us rise. It's like the resistance that a weightlifter has resistance. So the experiences that we have, and we call those forecasts. So there's energy within and energy without. So you could be carrying a number one energy inside of yourself, and it's a number two day, and things that you're just going to go crazy. Things aren't going to be moving fast enough for you because you're number one. When you ask the number one, when would you like to have this done? They'll say yesterday. They like speed.
That's me. I'm always, I'll pay extra. I need it now,
Truth Seeker is a number one.
Wow.
The name Truth Seeker is a number one of 46.
Wow. Obviously. Crazy. It's like when you talk about like the name change thing, how Jesus changed their name. I remember even picking that name and having an idea of what it meant, kind of thing. And this was a long time ago that I began to call myself and introduce myself and sign on and became who I was, right? This persona, if you will, that I literally stepped into, and it began to unfold and of Truth Seeker and becoming that name, becoming that title that you're introducing yourself as. So obviously words are powerful. They carry vibrational frequencies.
Their energy, their vibrations.
Man.
You know how you have experiences in your life and they just stick with you, you don't forget? This vibration experience I had was in the 7th grade with a science teacher. He said, look, Wright, he had a tuning fork. Look at this. He had a tuning fork, put it in front of me. I said, okay. It was just standing there. It wasn't doing anything, but he had another one behind him. And he struck the tuning fork behind him, and he brought it into the same proximity of the one that was standing still, and it began to vibrate at the same rate as the one it came. And this stuck with me. So it's like, okay, Jesus was healing because of the high level of energy he had within himself. So when he came into the presence of other people, their vibrations were raised and lifted up to through their faith. And he would tell them, it was your faith, it was your believing. So that's an element. You have to believe to receive, but we're transmitting this energy wherever we go. So there's sometimes, even if you're not saying a word, people will sense, you're grumpy or you're upset, and we can literally feel it, and people are saying now, can you feel me? They don't say, do you understand what I'm saying? They say, do you feel me? Can you feel me? So this energy, this vibration, this concept we're starting to pick up on that.
Yeah. Okay? So I'm definitely introduced to that concept through the 7 Hermetic principles, right? These universal principles that kind of govern the universe, and the law of correspondence, the law of resonance, where you are going to be on that level. Like we're going to find the others, your tribe, your friends, those kind of things, and you're going to vibrate at the same level. But again, the idea, the story of Jesus is that he's at a higher frequency that's willing to bring you up, willing to come down. I mean, the story of Jesus is like God became a man to come down from heaven and come to your level to raise you up to a higher frequency. So good.
Yes. That's the number 11.
Can you hear that?
Yes, I can. Oh my goodness. You tripping me out now, man.
This is a 1. This is a 1.
Oh.
This is the Om tone, and this is 136 hertz. 136 hertz. So that would be a 1, right? 1.
As up to 10, yes. That's your vibration. Truth Seeker, number 1.
So what is it like? I mean, how much have you studied with sound healing and sound frequency? Like, can we use the science to bring us into alignment? Like anything that's kind of out and off? Like, I feel like spine is perfect alignment, everything, but we're whack. We got issues over here, the chakra system, right? You got this is over here, like everything is lined up, but your sexual energy is like way off. It's too much, it's out of alignment. So sound healing, frequency, giving it just a little bit more attention to bring it back into perfect alignment so everything is flowing. Have you done much study on that with sound and things?
I'm not an expert on it, but it was part of the first book that I was introduced to metaphysics was called In Search of the Third Eye by Vera Stanley Alder. And she talked about secrets of color, secrets of sound, and secrets of numbers. So because of my early training, the numbers grasped me. But I read all of it. And the songs that are our favorite songs carry our energy, our vibration.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you can be healed with that tool that you have, and also the Tibetan the bowls.
Singing bowls, yeah.
The singing bowls.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. And Native American flutes, they come in different pitches.
Mhm.
So that flute sound and that singing bowl, or they can tune you right up. And yes, you can be healed with sound. And I believe medicine is going to go that way.
Yeah.
We're going to have more uninvasive procedures
Yeah.
instead of cutting ourselves up. And in the old days, they would let out so many pints of blood, thinking that would heal you. So yes, sound, energy, we're moving more toward that. The solar energy as well. I have to say this, you are on the forefront of this new awakening. Awakening people to these new potentials, these new concepts, these new ideas. You're on the forefront of that. You speak of it so fluently because it's you. It's part of who you are. So I'm honored to be on your show, to be a part of this process. I know you don't want to hear this. I know you're throwing this off because that's your humility and that's who you are. But literally, the numbers in your name literally are just like Simon to Peter. From your first name to true seeker is from 7 to number 1.
It's crazy. I can't believe you just said that. Because Derek in Hebrew is dawak, which means a rock.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Crazy.
I should have wore a coat because they're getting chilly.
I know. All the hair on my body standing up. That's resonance, though. It's a frequency. Yeah.
Exactly.
First, our body is an antenna. Literally, you can't see it on camera, but my goodness,
yeah,
you can feel it. I say that even with music. Like I'll hide resonance and stuff in my music, or even mantras or prayers that are embedded and they're turned down. And I say, well, you can't hear it, but you can feel it. When you're listening to it, you can feel the prayers and the beauty and the intercession and the blessings that are being sung over you as you're listening to this song. So, man, intention and numbers and music and way
those
more
are the
powerful
universal languages. They are the universal languages. Numbers and music. They are the universal languages.
Yeah, music, the great communicator. Use 2 sticks to make it into nature. Well, even drumming, like drumming,
you're
timing
the energy
signatures.
Guy. I'm the numbers guy. You're the sound guy.
Yeah, you tell me the number and then we release it. We'll do that. So good. So I want to throw a term in here.
Keep following through. Some of the concepts and ideas that you have, you're not going to get outside encouragement.
Wow. Shut up. That's my season. It's crazy. I'll have certain guests on because I'm like, they have to know this. Because I'm, downloads and information and frequency. If you're tapped in, listen, you're an open, willing vessel for God to whisper into your ear because you're in alignment. And there's been a lot of concepts that are so foreign. I feel like a crazy person. And so I'll get guests on. It's like, hey, maybe this guy can, maybe he can go there with me. They don't.
You're getting it from within. Moses was a 17. That gives a direct connection. And you're here to speak truth to power. There's things going on that you're going to stop. That's all I'm allowed to say about that.
Wow.
But I have to share that while we have this connection. I'm not going to go into it any deeper on the show. but
Yeah,
I think you already know.
it's confirmation, and the numbers confirm. I mean, that's what synchronicity is, right? I keep
Yeah.
seeing repetitive numbers: 1111, 333, 222. Like everyone, as soon as they hit spiritual awakening, hold on, something is trying to get my attention. Something is. I'm seeing these numbers. No, those numbers have always been there.
They've been there.
But now you're coming into alignment with their frequency.
That's right. I say that all the time. God is always broadcasting. We just haven't turned the radio on. You know, it's right now that show is playing, but you gotta turn the TV on to see it.
Yeah.
So that's where we come in. That's our station. That's what we chose to do in our incarnation. We're here to give that nudge, you know, to give that shake, to awaken, and in your case, to reestablish institutions, to speak truth to power, the power bases, the people in the power, the structure, the establishment, to rebuild the structure.
Oh yeah,
man, that's powerful, brother.
It's interesting too, because people may have those similar numbers in their, in their field, but there's an idea of like forgetting where you came from, or like leaving those people.
Spiritual amnesia.
I don't care about those people. Those people are this. Those people are that. My heart is like, hold on, we gotta awaken the others. There's no to be privy to step into success and to step into bliss, and it's not just for me. It's for whosoever will come, kind of thing. And there's so many people who forget about the people who are still there. Because now your situation's changed. Now everything's good. But like, hold on, the story of Jesus. I got to go back for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Father, I have to go down and help the people. They're lost and confused. So it's not to forget them or leave them behind, but for the others, and that's so, the energy of compassion, which is totally the story of Jesus, man. Every time he moved in a miracle, every time he had something profound happen, the scriptures throw that word in there. He was moved with compassion for the people. So good.
Yes.
With a term that comes up with biblical numerology and those things, and I don't know if this fits or if it's similar. I'm not an expert. The grammachia, it's some type of biblical numerology, right? Is that similar? Is that getting kind of far out into esoterics? Do you know?
I am not familiar. I'm not familiar with that term.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I've heard of
the Bible code kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's called Kabbalah.
Yeah, there you
heard of Kabbalah. So there are many different number systems.
Exactly. That's what it. So that's what it is. It's a Kabbalistic understanding. I see. The definition says it's a Kabbalistic method of interpreting the Hebrew scriptures by computing the numerical value of words based on those of their constituent letters. So. Yes. Everything we've been talking about.
Exactly.
We're talking about grammachia. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Crazy. So I was gonna, talking about what to name this episode, and so a name that come to me: biblical numerology, not for dummies. I don't like that word. Biblical numerology made simple.
Awesome.
Anyone can grasp it. Anyone can get it.
I love it.
So good. So what is the Bible to you now? Like, obviously at different levels of consciousness, at different as the seals of revelation are opened, and you're privy through love and through grace and through compassion to see into the deeper mysteries. Obviously, all of us, we only receive this at face value at some point, but now the Bible becomes a different book. And then the Bible becomes another book. To many people, the Bible is a book of hatred. It's a book of control, and it's used against them. And that's their conscious level of interpreting and interacting with this text. And the more I grow, it becomes first it's a book of morality and love, and at least the example of Jesus. But once you do that, it opens up another level. Now I've been having this conversation of the Bible as a book of angelology. Right, and the names of angels that are articulated by their numbers, and everything and every word and every place and every town and every name, but it's so much more. It's not any of those. So for you, when you read the scriptures, what does it symbolize the secrets of the level of consciousness that you're at?
Well, you're exactly right. Once you have this understanding of numbers, it changes everything. For example, here's a major shift. This is a major shift I had. And I studied the story of Jesus and I saw the number 3 over and over and over. So here's the major shift. There's a guy named Judas who throughout the ages has been considered an evil, evil, evil person who betrayed the Christ. You even have people use his name as an adjective for betrayers. He's a Judas. Mm-hmm. Okay? But when you study, as I studied the story of Christ, and I saw all the 3s associated with his name, there's only one 3 that has a 0 behind it. And 0 is a symbol for God. And that's the 30 pieces of silver that Judas expected. All the other 3s are just plain 3s. But the 30 pieces of silver, it was God's intention that he betray the Christ so that there would be a resurrection. With my understanding that we are formed in the womb in the image of God, as the Jeremiah story tells us, God said, okay, I'm sending my son, but I need somebody there to betray him. Who's going to do it? Everybody take one step forward. Who's going to do it? Everybody else took one step back and left Judas standing there. Okay, they're going to hate you forever. Your name will be despised throughout history. I'll do it, Lord.
But you'll be honored in the kingdom.
But you'll be honored in the kingdom forever.
Man.
So people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but it's there. I said, show me another 3 that doesn't have a 0.
Well, that name and his character is perfect alignment for that to look where he came from. So Judas is a derivative of Judah, which betrayed his brother for, 20 pieces of silver.
Wow.
That's interesting. So Judas did the same thing, the same energy, but to an nth degree to seal the deal, if you will. But everyone according to their name. And Jesus, Yeshua was a character in the Bible that means deliverer or God will deliver. So they're playing. It changes so much, man. It just opens so much about being with the idea of being in Christ or in God or created to a specific vibration. And what is in that? What is in Christ? All of these 12, it says in Christ is the fullness of the Godhead. And in the revelation is, listen, the Godhead is just not Father, Son, Holy Spirit. The Godhead is all of the supreme gods. We need a deceiver to be in Christ. You can't have somebody who is just loyal without having a energy that is a deceptive spirit. It has to be both, and all of those dwell together within Christ and within man so that we can choose and formulate to be tested so that great is our reward in heaven. And how all this stuff lines up, it's unfolding daily. It's amazing.
Yeah, yes, it is. Another example was the story of Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers because he had a coat of many colors, thrown into a pit. Later on, lied on by his master's wife. He ended up in jail. And it says throughout the story, and God was with him. Well, the name Joseph is a number 28. So if that number shows up anywhere on your day of birth or in your name, you're going to be betrayed by your friends. Your family is not going to like you, but no matter what happens to you, you're going to come out smelling like a rose, on top, in charge, and you will probably be working with the land.
Wow. And
that comes from that story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a lot of clients when I tell them about the story of Joseph, they go, now I understand.
Yeah. Christ taught it. Don't throw your pearls before swine. Listen,
yes, he did.
What God has given you is beautiful and it's yours. You don't need the confirmation. This is what you've been telling me. You don't need somebody to come on and say, hey, yeah, that was right on. Most of this stuff is going to be, what? You said what? We're going to be subservient to who? No. So it's like, hey, keep it to yourself until the appointed time, because what I said will come to pass.
That's what I heard when I started studying numerology back in 1970s.
Yeah.
People thought I was crazy, lost my mind. Some people ran away from me.
Mm-hmm.
But now, at this point in time, people are seeking me out for the wisdom and the knowledge that God was giving me and preparing me all along for this day. So that's why you have to keep it inside. And God said, I'll let you know when it's time. You need to just hush up right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when it's time. So like you said earlier, people started to seek you out. So people started to seek me out. I didn't have to run out and and try to pound this down on folks. The word got out and people started to seek. They wanted to know.
That's how it's supposed to be. Any enlightenment, any guru, any messiah, he doesn't come down to reach the people and claim to know the way. Like if we look at the Eastern traditions, they would go into the mountains, they would go into a 40-day fast, come down, it would receive enlightenment, they would be touched by the Creator, and it would come out, and people would resonate and come to them. And this idea of Christianity that we have to go out and proselytize and convince people that we have the truth kind of thing is, wow, so backward,
True that. That truth.
So let me throw crazy and get real mystical with you, because I know we have people who are into this, and just get your take on it. There's you talk about the living word, right? And obviously the words have to go back to numbers. It's the conception, or literally the reason that those ones and zeros are in the movie Matrix, because the word matrix means the womb of creation or conception, and everything is in the womb. So those ones and zeros and numbers, there's some keys there for you, and that's all throughout the scriptures. But these people, there's a movement of people. A lot of my friends are they say engaging with the living letters. They're unlocking the Hebrew letters and what they mean, and the vibrational frequency that they carry, and how if they understand each letter, and then when they come together for each word, it really tells a story in the scripture. So that word carries so much more power. But they're taking it to another level, and they're looking at these letters. Hebrew living letters is the movement, and they're looking at them as living entities that can be engaged, and they're having dreams about, and they're almost like angels that are bringing revelation to them and understanding of what they mean and those things. Does that concept sound a little bit too far out and fringe, or does it sound like something that could happen?
Definitely can happen, because we have to remember they're symbols. The letters are symbols for everything that you just mentioned. It's like they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Okay, so those letters, H is a lot more than just an H. It's a ladder.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like climbing your way to success. So yes, by all means, and by studying those letters, it just awakens so much more, and gives you a lot more information when you see the word help. Someone wants to be lifted up. You see that H there. All right. So yes, by studying those symbols, it unlocks so much more. So much more. I could talk probably, because of the amount of time I spent in studying, but I could probably talk about one number, for several hours.
Yeah.
Whereas before I would just, it was just a number in the classroom. Teacher had up around the room with everybody else with all the other numbers, 1, 2, 3, and ABC. It didn't mean anything, just a way to count. I'm 3 years old, I'm 4 years old, But now, a lot.
It's consciousness. It's like we're looking at the same thing, but we're seeing there's levels, there's dimensions. We're seeing different things. Somebody sees it as, like I said, just a number 3. It doesn't mean anything. Wait. That's a friend. That's a good number. I need a 3 in my life. That 3 communicates Christ. And there's so much more that as the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, literally.
Exactly.
Because they can
So
read
much
the signs and symbols in the numbers.
Yes, and be enriched for their effort.
So good. So good. Well, Dr. Craig, I enjoyed this conversation with you, brother, and I know we can keep going. And I'd love to have you back on. I love your spirit, and man, you've answered the call. You're where you're supposed to be, and the numbers don't lie, and they didn't lie to you. So thank you for coming on here, connecting with me and with my audience. I already know that they're going to be blessed, and they're going to be able to feel the energy, and when it resonates with them, that if they do the homework, they'll find out that there was a numerical frequency that brought that feeling and emotion into alignment as well. And that's the beauty of unfolding this beautiful present in front of you.
Awesome. Thank you once again for the opportunity to share.
If somebody wants to book a session, I mean, you got so much that you offer. Like me, you wear many hats. Like where can people go, find out about your teachings? And you've got very long lectures and presentations on all of this stuff. But where can people find out more about your work at?
You can visit my website at CraigEWright.com. That's CRAIG, the letter E, WRIGHT.com. And I have readings, forecasts, consultations, and a master class. I try to formulate this class as I imagine it was taught in the Luxor temple at the mystery schools in Egypt, where they said, know thyself. Know thyself.
Resonance. What does Wright add up to?
The name Wright with a W is a number 40, which is the same. And when I added up your month, day, and year, 1 plus 17 plus 22, added up to 40. My last name is a number 40. So we are here to usher in a new order.
Well, my wife's maiden name is Wright.
Okay.
So
all right.
You can see, like you said, the connection.
That's that number 40 and yours as well. And 40s like to hire an architect and design their own home.
Yeah.
It's also an entrepreneur vibration as well.
There's some, I think we have to be skeptics. I believe that, Thomas is one of my favorite characters in the Bible of him.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, you got to show me, brother. He told us that they were going to be many messiahs come that are going to deceive us. And you guys are following the first person who said he was the Messiah. No, you got to show me. That skepticism, that show me, allowed him to step through a portal, through a veil of some beautiful encounters and interactions with his Lord. Oh, wow. Yes. He gets to put his finger in the hole in his hand. And wow, this is really him, guys. Like, it was an expression. So there's a lot of people who are skeptics of this. And maybe one of the first things is like, because we've read like, whether it's numerology reports or astrology reports, and it's almost like the idea that, hey, this can fit for anybody. Like anybody can read this and it's applicable. But it's been different talking to you and really carrying that energy. And none of it is like, maybe I fit. No. This is where I'm at, like right now. Not obviously where I was. You read that. And you read where I am, but also where I'm going. And you're not some magic man. You're just somebody who's been trained to see and actually to do the research, which is take the time. It's simply taking time. It's what's your numbers.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Like, I would say book a session with you. I would say you're not the first one to bring this up and it match. That's why, that we got to, repetition reduces resistance. This is easy. This is something that's beckoning and calling to people. What about old phone numbers when you were a kid? Like, do you think like the numbers that follow you, they were there watching over you almost as an angel kind of thing the whole time, right?
Yes, truth. I lived as a child, my address was 2413. 2413.
Mm-hmm.
When I had children, my daughter was born on the 24th of March, and my son was born on the 13th of August, 2413. He's followed me around everywhere I go.
Guardian angels, guardian
Yes.
numbers. They're here to guard you. Like guard is like a guardrail. Like we think of a guardian angel to come down and swoop you and pull you out. Like it's a story, it's a picture, but a guardrail is to keep you into alignment. So these numbers are like the angels that say, okay, this is where you're going. We got the guardrails up. You're not going off too far this way. There's straight and narrow path.
Beautiful.
It becomes more clear. Wow.
Yes, it does.
Dr. Craig, I really enjoyed this conversation, brother. Thank you for hanging out with me, and we'll have to do it again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, True Seeker. Continue on in your good works. God bless.
God bless, brother. Thank you. Shalom. All right. Man, that was so good, bro. That's an adventure, man.
And time went by so fast.
That was an adventure.
You are there, my brother. You are definitely there. A trailblazer. Your first name is a 7, just like Simon, the number 25. There's a 25 is success after difficulty. Now you're operating under the number 1 energy. Wow. It's the same transition. So you're going to have an opportunity to be an entrepreneur if you're not already, to have your own business, to blaze your own path. And your birth path is the number 40, which is the orderliness of God. So every time the 40 shows up, God is making a change, bringing about a change in the whole world. And that's what you came here to do. You're going to impact, well, I stop saying going to, you are impacting the planet. Your year, the number 22, is the globalist. So you may want to start thinking about translating what you do into different languages.
Yeah, I've had people reach out to me about. I've had people reach out to me about my book, definitely, for putting in this, and they offered. It wasn't even a paid thing. That hey, I would love to do this for you, and because I don't speak Spanish, I'm like, it's not a priority. But you see other people who are doing it, and it's definitely allowing them to step into the global impact, like you say.
And number 22, that's your year. It's called the globalist, which means if you're not already, you're going to travel around to different countries. You may even live or spend like 3 or 4 months a year in another country, like be a globe trotter and have a house in America, a house in France, a house, that type of energy. That's what's coming up.
So weird.
Right around 48, 52, that's what's coming up. That's when that 22 kicks in. Month, day, and year is like 22 years. So it's like 22 to 25, 44 to 45, up to 50, then after 50, that 22 kicks in. And with all the wonderful things you've done, you ain't seen nothing yet till you get past 45 or 50.
Wow. Man, everything you're speaking is like, that's what's been on my mind. Like literally, like I've been looking up flights, prices on flights to Tokyo and those kind of things. Like literally this week, like just the imagination. You obviously is an antenna, and you step into the energy, and it's like, hey, what if? And that's how you create. That's how you step in. Is the what if, but the what ifs are the numbers revealing themselves to you.
The mind is soil and thoughts are seed, my brother, and we reap what we sow. And the word mind is a number 22. So you have to be very careful of what you think, because it will almost manifest instantly. That's how trusted you have become with the universe to have this gift. Your concepts are coming from such a beautiful place, they will take form almost immediately as you speak. So you are definitely a master soul.
I'm in that, man. Thank you. I hope that many people listening will book sessions with you, and I'm going to refer my friends to you. This has just been a beautiful, enlightening conversation, and people need to get into alignment with their numbers and because people are confused. I mean, that's where confusion is, and let's confuse their speech. Let's confuse the language, which are words and numbers, and the words are, the 2 doesn't mean this. We don't know. We can't read the signs, but obviously people step into that alignment and they can read the numbers, they get on that narrow path between the guardrails of the guardian angels, and they're ushered into all of this, and they can see where all of that stuff prepared them for what they're supposed to be doing and where they're going.
Drew, I gotta tell you, man, you have been an oasis for me. I've been like on a desert, but this show, I'm ready to be revived and keep going, man.
No, I see, definitely. Like, I've got people in mind that I'm gonna send your way, and I know that if we set the bar, the energy, and they felt what I felt, you know, obviously it's gonna be different for them, but there's a resonance. Oh yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, this is simple. Oh yeah, wow, I need that. We just had a sound healing session. Like you attune by just speaking out, you know, the words and numbers and frequencies over me, and to be able to see that and see what a person's going through and just speak it. The numbers do what they do, and I really appreciate you. And this is definitely something that I want to help promote and you know, push you out there to more people in any way I can. Just let me know.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, man, brother. Many blessings. We'll do it again. Thank you.
All right.
All right, shalom. Wow. The energy, it enters me. I vibrate at a high rate of frequency to eliminate all the doubt and the unbelief from within. I'm transformed mentally. How do I articulate, you know, the conversation, the energy from it? Guys, this is every conversation. This is every conversation that you have with somebody that's either building you up, tearing you down, pulling from you, giving, which a beautiful relationship, a beautiful conversation may be a little bit of all of it. Take a little, give a little, build up, explore. That's why I say these talks, many of them are a journey, a roller coaster. It's an adventure, and I've been having a lot of those lately. And this was amazing. Feel refreshed, in alignment, rejuvenated. Man, I want to beckon you guys to really go and book a session with this guy. Like, it was right on. Oh, you need to feel this, for sure. I know you felt it just from the conversation, but personal articulation, who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. Like, there's all types of pricing points on his website. I just went there. Book a session with him and let me know how it went. Let me know in the comment section. Send me an email. I really think that a one-on-one with this brother will benefit your life. And make sure you guys go and do that. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody supporting my work via Patreon. This is a listener-supported, listener-funded show. Doesn't exist without your help. Thank you for believing in my work and partnering with me. There's been so many people who have stepped into the awareness of what I do and the energy and the alignment with that, and they wanted to come alongside and partner with me financially. It allows me to continue doing what I'm doing. So thank you for partnering with me and my energy and what I represent, so that I can keep doing it at the level that I'm doing it. So much going on. I'm gonna read some of the names of the patrons within the last week or so. Shout out to Nathan Mark Mason. Thank you for coming on, brother. Your support means the world. Thank you to Jackie. What's up, Jackie? Welcome to the community. Great to have you. And Kayla Blaney. Thank you, Kayla, for coming on. Again, support means the world. Welcome to the tribe. If you'd like to support, go to patreon.com/truthseeker. There you get access to my entire discography of music. It's over 200 plus songs, behind the scenes stuff, some of the other webinars and things that we've done in the past with the Mystic Circle, and there's a beautiful numerology webinar that's on there as well. So all of that you get access to. Our Thursday night hangouts, just conversations, group talk, meditation, prayer, the community aspect of what we're building here. Thursday nights, 7 p.m., Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central, all that cool stuff. Make sure you check it out. This is the community of what we're building, and there's Discord privileges. I have a private Discord that's always up on my computer, so anytime somebody needs to get access or have a question or want to jump into a chat, if I'm not able to jump in, then one of our leaders and people who really resonate with what we're doing are available. And there's a lot of people that I believe in and I pour into, and man, shout out to all of you guys. I only read 3 names. Those are the 3 latest patrons, but there's so many people who have been introduced to the work and who have been donating and supporting and sharing, and even people who aren't on Patreon. They give monthly through like Cash App or like a one-time donation. And then there's people who are on Patreon and they continue to say, hold on, that's not enough. I'm going to keep giving. Listen, a little goes a long way. Thank you for enabling me to do this at the level that I am and to support me and my family with these endeavors, to make you smile, to make you question, to make you laugh, to hold your hand and go deeper with you on the journey simply by being your authentic self. That's the magic. Truth Seeker is this, he's that, a super prophet. No. I'm in alignment with my numbers and I know who I am. You become a truth seeker for somebody else. You move into alignment with your numbers. You step in between the guardrails of the guardian angels on your path, on your highway of holiness, on the path of perfection of the narrow road. Be who God created you to be. Make yourself. Know who you are. Listen, oh man, so much emphasis on this. And it becomes simple. Magic becomes simple. It's who we are, it's what we do. These concepts are shocking and foreign to so many people, but they're so natural. It's just who we are. It's just who we are. It's second nature. So that's why we can talk about it with confidence and authority, because we've been there. We know who we are. We know the angels. We know the energy. We know the demons. We know all of this. It's been a part of our life for years, so you can't really tell me much about it because I know it. Again, that's why Jesus was able to speak with authority. And it says, not as the Pharisees or scribes. Jesus was able to teach these concepts with authority, with bass in his voice, not to question, not to waver, but to be fully convinced because he had encountered such angels. He had encountered such energy. He was the walking manifestation of all of the numbers put together, the Godhead that dwells within Christ. This is powerful stuff. And I hope you get it. I hope you explore your numbers and do what God has called you to do. And in that, be who God has created you to be. Many blessings, guys. We'll do it again. Peace and shalom. I'll see you soon.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the Truth Seeker podcast, head over to truthseeker.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/truthseeker.